So a few nights ago, my girlfriend and I had a couple drinks and convinced ourselves that we needed to go down the street to Vaughn's for snacks. We ended up with a sort of weird grouping of 6 items. Toasted sesame water crackers, some smoked mozzarella cheese, chickpea chips, a dozen eggs because you always need eggs, this sweet young coconut because I saw it near the cash register, and scallions because, Honey, why do we get scallions again?
I have no idea.
Well, apparently nobody knows why we got the scallions. Anyway, we enjoyed the snacks. They were all really good. But then I happened to look at the check, and I realized that I had accidentally paid for 17 federal programs. Okay, not exactly, but let me explain. This year, the federal budget request for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the organization that runs PBS, NPR, and over 1,400 locally owned public radio and television stations, is $445 million. Using the latest census information, that comes out to $1.37 per American per year, or about the cost of 12 and a half toasted sesame water crackers. The National Endowment for the Arts wants a budget of only $150 million to help fund art exhibitions and art education across the country. To help America imagine itself artistically, each of us has to pay just this much smoked mozzarella cheese per year. You might be wondering why I'm bringing all this up. It's because in the next few weeks, you're likely to see the Trump administration propose dramatic budget cuts to the federal government that will seek to privatize the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and eliminate the National Endowment of the Arts completely, as well as 15 other programs. Thanks to some good work from Taylor Tepper over at Time Magazine, we know that taken together, these 17 programs will cost every American $22.36 per year, the exact cost of my late night snack run. Here's what they'll each cost you individually and what they do. Cue the montage music. The National Endowment for the Humanities helps fund museums, colleges, libraries, and things like Ken Burns' awesome Civil War documentary. It'll cost you the price of just one egg. The Minority Business Development Agency promotes the growth of businesses owned and operated by minority entrepreneurs. It costs everyone just 11 cents or this many chopped scallions. You can fund the Economic Development Administration, an organization that supplies regional and local businesses with the infrastructure they need to compete in the global market, for 20% of the water in this coconut. For the cost of 6 water crackers with cheese, you can support the International Trade Administration, which helps enforce trade law for U.S. companies. For 20% of 1 bag of chickpea chips, you'll fund the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which is dedicated to strengthening small and medium-sized manufacturers. For 17% more chickpea chips, you'll fund the Office of Violence Against Women, which oversees programs across the country that reduce domestic violence and sexual assault. The Legal Services Corporation helps poor Americans afford legal services. That'll cost you just 3 eggs fried, plus some scallions. The Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department fights discrimination and protects voting rights. That'll cost you just a couple shots of coconut water, plus some scallions. To fund the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which compiles the latest scientific data on global warming, you have to throw in just this much of a chickpea chip. The Office of Electricity Deliverability and Energy Reliability invests in making our energy grid more stable and secure. It costs all the scallions. The scallions are really cheap. And finally, the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy aids efforts to transition America to a clean energy economy. It's the most expensive of the bunch, yet it only costs the price of 1 box of water crackers and 1 bag of chips. The blueprint for these cuts comes from a paper put out by the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank that has long argued for eliminating federal programs as a way to reduce our $20 trillion national debt. But the problem is that altogether, these programs are asking for only $7.3 billion, which is 1% of the non-defense discretionary spending that our government does. Fully half of discretionary spending goes to the military, something that the Trump administration is not likely to slash all that much. And in total, all discretionary spending makes up only 31% of the federal budget. The rest goes to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, entitlements that Trump has also vowed not to touch. In other words, privatizing or eliminating these 17 programs is really only a symbolic gesture that won't do much of anything. The good news is that this is a fight that should be pretty easy to win. If you're willing to spend, drunkenly or not, $22.36 on these 17 programs, call your congressman and say so. And if they want to know why you think privatizing PBS or killing the National Endowment of the Arts is a bunch of bullshit, feel free to send them this video. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Nerdwriter t-shirt still available at dftba.com. Send me a picture if you got one. Anyway, thanks to Crunchyroll for sponsoring this episode. If you don't know, Crunchyroll is like the Netflix of anime. It's really cool. It's got thousands of titles, all HD. And if something airs in Japan, it's going to be on Crunchyroll an hour later, so you can see the latest anime stuff coming out of Japan on Crunchyroll. I want to recommend Cowboy Bebop, which is, in my opinion, a work of art. And if you sign up at crunchyroll.com/nerdwriter, you can get a free 30-day trial, which would allow you to watch that show, and I think that you would really like it. Anyway, I'll see you guys next Wednesday, and thanks again for watching.